So are y'all surviving the apocalypse?
If you want to put it that way.
I am one of the people that's not knowing what's going on. I'm just
Oh,
in the house.
absolutely. You in the
I'm in the
house.
house playing video games.
You come out 3 days later. It's pandemonium. Animals running through the street, and you're just like, "What happened?"
Like, what's going on?
You make it all the way to the Chinese restaurant. You just
Trying to
ordered
figure,
just normal.
trying to figure out why it's not open. It's 12 o'clock. Why is this way close?
Huh.
All right.
Okay.
They close. I don't even see the little boy in there.
We'll go to the McDonald's next door. Oh, it's close. This is a shopping center. Shopping center must be down. I'm gonna go back home.
Mind you, streets just littered with like pamphlets and stuff, and
I'm ignoring all
bed
of
sheets hanging out of windows. He's like, "Huh." So I'll go back home.
I
Let's
could
eat
have
ramen
very
noodles.
well done exactly. You know, the opening of what is that zombie movie? The comedy.
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead. I
Oh.
very much there back when I was working retail. I could have very much done exactly what he did because it was
Yep.
just like go over here, do this, go over here, do this. Nothing's
Yep.
if nothing impeded me from going over up the street to like get a sandwich, I wouldn't even know that anything was weird.
That's because everybody is oblivious now. This is
Well, I think it depends on what apocalypse. Like zombie apocalypse, I'm not gonna make it.
nobody's making the zombie apocalypse. No, ain't nobody. That's
Like, actually, I'm probably dead in most apocalypses, honestly.
We're all making it through a plague somehow.
I mean, we're in one right now, so it has to be a slow apocalypse. I'll survive that one.
the slow one that doesn't stop people from making money.
Yeah,
I'm fine, but
electricity is still on.
I mean,
right.
COVID happened and it was a vacation to me. So I was just in the house. This is
look, I'm gonna survive until chicken wings hit $8 a wing. That's probably when I'll probably die.
They're gonna start taking the flats and cutting them in half too.
And then, yep, that's the point.
Oh my god, they do that at some of these restaurants in here.
Don't tell me that.
They
Don't
do.
tell me.
No, I'm not having that.
Nah.
They do.
I'll strike.
Nope.
They do.
Protest.
I did not intend to find out that we're in a full apocalypse now on this episode.
You telling me they took one wing and
A
turned
flat.
it into 2 pieces, and now they're turning
You
the
order
wing
a
into 3
plate of
pieces?
wings, they will be all flats and they will be cut in half.
No. How the French say it? Absolutamente no.
I rebuke that.
That's Spanish. I'm
But
learning
I will
Spanish.
be doggone if those was not the tastiest wings I had in a minute.
You still pay, man? Look,
they was at the table already. What we gonna do?
I guess so. You did pay for them already.
I said this before. I'll say it again. I know that we're not going to make it as a society because we let them turn one wing into 2. We let them do it.
We did that though, so I can't knock it.
Yeah, we let it go.
Black folk in Canada did it, and then so this is how they became Buffalo Wings. They were in Canada, and the folks who owned the restaurant in Buffalo crossed the river over to Canada. Was like, hey, what y'all got going on over here? This is pretty awesome. Took it back to Buffalo and then stole it.
What?
And they became Buffalo Wings.
That's where them nasty flavored wings came from?
You don't like butter and hot sauce? It's butter and hot sauce.
It was Black Canadians that did it.
Dang it!
Shout out Ontario.
And then white folk took it like it's theirs.
White Americans stole it.
Because I swear I thought it was a Caucasian thing.
That's probably what started the War of 1812.
Wait, hold on.
Anyway, on that note,
screwing up your wings with my woes.
Thank you for joining us today. If this is your first time with us, we're the secret group of brown kids. Who are the secret group of brown kids? It's a secret. But you might be able to find us communicating with the deer, because if there's anything owning cats has taught us, it's how to talk to animals.
The deer know it. They know it all. They know everything.
And my name is Tiffzilla, your host, and on this podcast I make my friends watch movies with me and talk about their feelings. And on the panel today, New Year, New Him, Karreem.
Yes, always new me, every day, because I'm a shadow.
New Year, Don't Care, Tim.
Time is a construct.
All right, and on today's episode, we were doing Leave the World Behind. Just came out on Netflix at the end of last year, and it's still making its rounds, so we hopped on it because I wanted to know what was up with that meme with the girl.
That's why?
That's why?
Yeah.
I mean, I added it to the list, and I was like, I'll get to it when I get to it. But until somebody tagged me in the meme, and I was like, dang, I don't know a meme. I gotta
Not you
find out,
can't stand not knowing.
right?
So you fake LOL'd and just said, let me add this to my
No, I
list.
was honest. I said, look, I ain't watch it yet. BRB. And I
You
went and got y'all to.
go back to that post in 15 minutes. Like, here we go.
Give me
Haha.
2 hours.
It was actually Lola who did it. But yeah, so plot description if you don't know. A family's getaway to a luxurious rental home takes an ominous turn when a cyber attack knocks out their devices and 2 strangers appear at their door. And like I said, it came out at the end of last year. First premiered at AFI Fest in October, and then had a limited release in November, and then 2 weeks later it came out on Netflix everywhere. So currently streaming on Netflix. Apparently there was a bidding war for this between Netflix, Apple, and I forgot who the third one was.
I can see this as an Apple movie.
No, I was going to say exactly the same thing. They would do a little trailer for it that shows you absolutely nothing, and you'd have to guess.
Because that's what they did for his other movie with the clone.
Swan Song.
Swan Song. I had no
Yeah.
idea what that was about.
Every one of the Apple movies, that's the trailers they do. It just be like they'll show the actors in like really tight cut shots, and it'll say Apple movies, and you'll be like,
Yeah.
cool.
But-
What was that for?
And
You
Cinephiles
didn't even
would be
say what
all
movie
over
was it
that.
for.
I watched it because it was Marshala.
Hmm.
Marshala?
Jeez, you got to get it right. Mahershala.
Mahershala. Thank you. Look, it's a lot of syllables and A's in that name.
He did not get called that in junior high. His teacher called him Murray. His white teachers looked him dead in the face and went, "You gonna be Murray?"
Mm.
And he was like, "Okay, that's not my name though."
Or they just called him by his last name.
Then hope for the best, Mr. Ali.
But speaking of him, starring Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali, Ethan Hawke, speaking of messing up names,
Oh,
Myhala. Maha.
My.
Her name is Mahala Harold, but I think she also wants to go just by Mahala, like Zendaya. I see what she's doing.
oh,
And
okay.
Farrah McKenzie, Charlie Evans, and Kevin Bacon. Directed by Sam Esmail. Also, he wrote the screenplay. But like I said, it's based on a novel written by Suman Alam I think came out of 2020.
Oh.
Okay.
And I don't know if this is right or not. The budget might be 120 million. I couldn't find any official word on that.
That's like 10 Godzillas.
I feel like Netflix like scrubs the internet for that. Like they don't want that shit out.
That is happening for a lot of their movies that they show where you can't really
Like
find out.
they've already, I mean, they've been like tight-lipped about a lot of info. You know, they don't show view numbers until recently. A lot of that stuff because they
you find
kind
out number specifics that you got to justify why you charge it so much for your streaming.
of.
If you put those numbers up, it might be like, okay, I get why I'm paying $14. That was all right. You did pretty good with it, but now you're just being secretive.
It's because I guarantee you this is the answer. They don't know, or like they'll have a number, they'll throw it out there, but like they don't have a budget. If you ever worked with someone who doesn't use a budget, they don't like giving numbers.
That's
true.
yeah.
They just be winging it and hope that they end up in the black at the end.
It's like we'll make it up. We'll
Yeah.
get it. We'll get it back.
We did good last year. More movies. That's working for us. So
You know what? Korean dramas. Why
Yeah.
why the hell not?
hey, that
Hey,
did
hey,
numbers.
hey now. Hey
It worked
now.
for Hulu.
That's working.
Yeah, it worked for Hulu. That we were all over Hulu, and then Netflix said those are ours now.
Because I'm on all the Korean dramas. This is
And yeah, so get a load of this. You ready for Rotten Tomatoes? Hold on, before I say what it actually is, you tell me what you think it is.
Okay, so I
mean, you already saw it.
I already
so never
looked, but
mind.
I already looked, but I am horribly surprised.
so.
I know Karreem hasn't looked. He don't open his shit.
I don't. I don't.
You know,
I
Google
don't.
be snitching. I see anonymous hippo.
I don't. I don't. Because I'm the king of wing it. I just wing it.
That's why you be like, "Oh, what about?" And I'm like, "I ain't got to it yet."
You know
you
what?
would know.
Don't you be adding sense and logic to this conversation. Don't do that. Don't do that in 2024. But I would say it's got to be real high though, right? Because seems like a Rotten Tomatoes type movie.
What does that mean? What is it?
Like
Which?
movies that those critics would grade on a higher scale because it's
Okay, you are
different,
right.
a thinker.
You're right. I'm gonna give the critic score first, 75%. Audience score, 34%.
Oh, that's low.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
So
That's
general
low.
audiences, well, I'm gonna throw this at you. Y'all are critics. But general audiences did not fuck with this movie.
I am a connoisseur.
So I'm not gonna say we all watch a lot of movies, but we watch a lot of movies now, especially with a critical lens, right? So
I try to.
Ish.
yeah. Now we kind of like we're watching things in a certain way, expecting certain things, or certain things that didn't used to, tickle our fancy.
Ish.
Now,
Yeah.
now it kind of works that way. But general audiences probably saw this and probably thought they were getting a straight up disaster movie, right?
Yeah, I
And
could see
that's not
that.
what they got.
I guess, yeah.
So they were probably low key mad about it. Because the only things I'm really seeing is the meme, the girl meme, and sometimes people just straight up say, I didn't really like it.
So what you're saying is like the Magical Negroes movie coming out.
I can't say that because it ain't come out yet. But yeah.
They're expecting something.
They're
So.
expecting Black Harry Potter, but
They
it's
should be
literally
expecting Bagger Vance.
This one,
the what it's about. The trope is literally in the name. Why would they name a Black Harry Potter movie Magical Negro in the year of our Lord 2024? Anyway,
and this one they're expecting Michael Bay explosions, earthquakes, bombs.
yeah, I mean, to an extent. I mean, I understand to an extent because that like the clips they show all of the interesting things in the clips, at least like visually interesting. Like, oh shit, all these deer. Like, what's up with the deer? What's up? What's those red? Like that plane is dropping like a red cloud. Oh, there's an oil tanker just ran aground. Like, I get it. So you go and you watching, and well, we ain't got to the spoiler alert yet, but real quick before we do, shout outs. United Kingdom and India, they got a little active again. So shout out you guys. But we also got our usual suspects with us. Ontario, Washington, Texas still going strong. Texas watching more than episodes we got. I don't even know what's going on. It's probably more than one person. Duh. Florida, love you guys.
Do we?
But yeah, I said you, Julia Roberts. You got your own thing going on.
Wow. I am not.
So, remind y'all to like and subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already, and let your friends know you like us. But moving forward, we're going to spoil this movie. It's on Netflix. Pretty accessible. If you don't have your own account, go over to somebody else's house. See, I got it right this time. I forgot about the password shit before.
Because you got to now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Netflix and chill is back.
Oh no.
Coming over your house. You need to chill. I want to watch your Netflix. That's what it means.
Conspiracy theory. It's a government ploy to get people to make more babies.
White babies. Which I wouldn't have a problem with. Guess what my last name is? Guess what my name was in the hospital? Because my parents didn't name me when I was born. So you know what my name was on my wristband?
What?
White boy.
Oh.
So anytime people try to call me an Oreo in grade school, I was like, probably.
Most likely.
There's power in words. From your mouth flows blessings and curses.
I did joke about making that my rap name a while ago, but I was like, nobody's gonna like that. Just white.
Oh
boy.
nah. It's like there was that what was that rap group?
Young black teenager.
All white dudes.
I remember listening to them on the radio and was like,
hold up.
What group? Wait a minute.
What?
You didn't know about that?
No.
Yeah. That's their name. Look
The
them
sad
up.
thing about it is that they were good too.
They were good, but it was just like
they weren't gonna get too far. So like that was the joke, right? Was that it was called that, but it was all white dudes. But like not everybody found it funny.
No.
Really.
Wow.
They changed it down to YBT. Just
late.
didn't work out.
Too late. It's too late. Caught.
They could have been like, we're the teenagers.
Cancel it.
They didn't even name themselves though.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, it was
Somebody
a black
else
guy
did
named
that.
them. Yeah. I forgot who. You know, if I said the name, you would know who. But like, basically, it was like two groups, and who would get the better name. And the other group won, and they named them that. And then they were like, "Okay, we're going to name you guys this," and it's a joke because like we're appreciative that white folks are in hip hop, and it's a unity thing. Don't worry, they'll understand.
What?
Anyway, back to the movie. I don't even remember how we got on that. So yeah, we're gonna spoil the movie. Watch it if you haven't already, or if you just want to listen to the sounds of our sexy voices.
Yes. Hello. What your name is?
So before we start, how do you feel about it, Tim?
I did go into it going, haven't seen a disaster movie in a while. Let's check this out.
Mm.
But like I was actually saying when I was talking, Ann and I watched this together, and I was like, they don't normally flesh the characters out this much in a disaster movie. You get like the 10 minutes at the beginning to get used to the characters and to kind of empathize with them. Yeah. And then they just start pitching them off of roofs. But this was like, we're really having deep conversations over here. Mm-hmm. This is a little, things are starting to get a little A24 in here.
Karreem,
I liked it. I thought it was good. Because I didn't know what it was about. I just saw the actor list. I was like, oh, all right, cool.
Honestly, that's how I'd be picking movies too. It's like I would watch anything with this person in it.
Yeah.
I like Miss Rogers. She's funny.
I thought it was good. It's because I was sitting there the first 20 minutes. I want to say, like, what's happening? What is this?
Yeah,
is this a house kidnap movie? Is this something?
No, I liked it too. There are some director choices that directorial. I don't know, director choices that I don't know how I feel about, but I'll throw that out along the way. But in general, I like the movie.
Good movie. Long way to go for that punchline.
Woo. Yeah.
Ooh, doggy. I was like, this is not going to happen.
Yeah.
And then the movie looked right back at me, was like,
wink. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so the film starts out in New York City with Clay, Ethan Hawke, waking up to his wife, Amanda Julia Roberts. I'm proud of myself. I actually put the character names in this time because I was definitely about to call them Ethan Hawke and Julia Roberts through the whole damn thing. Yeah, Julia Roberts packing a suitcase. She tells him that she made spur-of-the-moment plans for the weekend for a getaway for the family to get out of the city, right? And she's like, well, I couldn't fall back asleep this morning. I came over here to watch the sunrise, and I saw all these people starting their day with such tenacity, such verve, all in an effort to make something of themselves, something of our world. I felt so lucky to be a part of that. Then I remembered what the world is actually like, and I came to a more accurate realization, and the camera zooms in on her. I fucking hate people.
I really wished in that moment there had just been like just some guttural music, just right there, like setting the movie up weird. I love it.
Instead, you got Joey Badass. It was rap.
Yeah,
that was a needle. It was still a needle drop.
It still works.
So not just the music, the needle drop, but it was also like a title sequence, which you rarely see in movies anymore. Especially like like if I was watching a James Bond or something, it was like, ooh, a title sequence.
Yeah.
Or is that type of movie?
The Scott Pilgrim movie kind of slipped it in there,
Yeah.
I was like, wait, okay. And it was kind of not long, but it was a good amount of time too. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about the transition and then the song choice. I don't know.
The song choice I thought was off, honestly.
I was trying to make sense of it, but like I'm not sure if he just was like, yeah, this sounds good, or yeah, look like it was like a shock factor kind of. I don't know.
I was expecting. Well, after putting it that way, like it didn't seem to have as much to do with the theme.
Yeah, that's what made me think he just really liked that song.
Yeah,
but whatever. Maybe he just liked it in his head. So, but it didn't throw me off too much. It was just interesting.
It woke me up, definitely.
Yeah, it did. And then I ended up falling asleep later on, and I have to finish it today.
I watched it all today.
I
I
will
don't know
say,
why. I didn't get up till 2 in the afternoon. I slept terribly.
to me, this was one of those movies that tried harder to be like a smart intellectual movie.
Well, that's the book. So to me, it wasn't that it was trying hard. It was that I just don't know if the director was right for the book. But I don't hate anything. It was just a couple times I rose my eyebrow, like, I might have done that differently. But okay. Like, so I'm not really going to charge it against him, you know? He's
Yeah.
usually a producer. Like, this is the dude who made Sam Esmail. He made Mr. Robot. And I think that show Homecoming that I didn't watch on Amazon. But most people know him as,
Oh,
yeah.
this does kind of seem okay because I watched.
So that makes some decisions make a
seasons of
bit more
Homecoming.
sense.
Yeah.
Because Mr. Robot wasn't like this exactly, but it did have that like here's this serious thing that's happening, but also was that supposed to be funny? Because I kind of laughed. Like he does that a lot, so I get it. So we see the family headed there, and it's Long Island, so it's not even like it's not. They're not going to Florida. They're going to Long Island from New York City, and here we learn that the daughter Rose is trying to complete a watch of the show Friends, but she loses signal.
She was obsessed.
Look, it's honestly like, I mean, we could just say it at the top. Like, it's the running joke throughout the movie to the point where I watched this twice and I was like, oh, she really
Obsessed.
only talked about Friends.
Yep.
Like
Yes.
the only time she ever, when she's on screen and she ever says it's something else, is if something weird is happening,
Yes.
i.e. the shit or the dare. But the rest of it is like, yo, I can't watch Friends. I have a lot of anxiety about how they're going to end this show, and I'm on the last episode, and the mom is like, get out my face.
Then when she did talk about another time, she talked about something different. She brought up the West Wing.
Yeah.
And I was
she's
like,
you watched the West Wing? And she's like, oh, only the Sorkin episodes.
Yeah, I was like, okay, what is this child?
She definitely felt like an internet child, like a budding cinephile. But like
she got a podcast.
she ain't get there yet. Like she's gonna end up there in 3 years. So and then we see them arrive at the house, and they spend a little time taking it all in, right? It's a nice house. So then Amanda, Julia Roberts, goes to the grocery store, and we see her looking at Kevin Bacon loading his truck with packs of water. And like then he notices her looking at him, and he stares right back. So that was a little awkward. But yeah, so back at the house, like the kids play in the pool, and like the dad makes lunch, and the mom comes back from the grocery, right? And she I forgot what she says, but he's like, "Oh, hey, I got another idea for a good time. Maybe?" And she's like, we've got 15 minutes before they're begging to go to the beach. And he goes, oh, that's all I need. I included that joke because I felt that. Look, I on his little dance he does when he straightens his shirt and everything. Look, I get it. But yeah, so then the family heads to the beach, and like they're chilling on the sand, and at some point the daughter points out that there's a boat that looks like it's headed towards them. The dad is like, yeah, that's an oil tanker. She's a beaut. She's red. Something funny. And like, but they're not really paying her any mind. In fact, nobody ever really pays the daughter any attention.
Not like they should.
Not like they should. They're just, everything she just kind of says, they're like, yeah, okay, because I guess she's just a weirdo.
They'd be like, look, right.
Nobody else gives a shit about Friends. Like, okay, yeah, it's a boat in the water. What do you want me to? But she's staring at it. Okay,
it was far too. So
yeah, it started out far, but then we do 2 time skips, and she never changes her position. She never moves her head. She's still staring at the boat. And both after the first time skip, she's like, that boat, I think it's coming closer. And then second time skip, she's like, yeah, that boat's coming closer. And then finally Julie Roberts is like, oh snap, that boat's coming closer. Wake up. And then she asked the husband, Ethan Hawke, and he's like, yeah, it's coming closer. It's like, yo, grab your stuff, run. And like by the time they start to move, it starts to run in the ground and moves all like up the beach, right to where they were sitting. But like,
and I would have one issue with this scene.
What?
Why are you running to the left of the boat? because
Should
it's
they have ran
close.
to the right of the boat?
No, you're supposed to run away from it.
They intersected
were-
where the boat was coming from.
Yeah.
If they had gone to their right,
You sure?
the way the shot was set up, it looked like
Okay.
they ran. Well, maybe the only thing I could think, because I thought of it too.
The
Karreem, you're
exit's
not
that
alone.
way.
Was it decide? So what's the shot?
I thought of immediately was, what if the car is that way?
Yeah.
But I did see exactly what
Okay.
you saw.
Now that's
I
the
did
way they
think of that.
came from. But in the moment, I thought it was heading like, or maybe you're right. Like I just remembered it looked like it was heading straight towards him. It would, if they didn't move, it would hit him dead on. But maybe it was the angle or something. I don't know.
Okay, maybe it was the camera because I was like, why are y'all running this direction? Okay.
I don't know. I'm really spatial for no reason. So like in the back of my head, I knew that their car was that way, and I'm not even in the movie.
I do that from time to time. I get your point.
So like, where do we park the car? Going back to the dad logic. We get excited for 15 minutes and we know where the car is parked.
No. It wasn't here. It was on the next level of the parking deck because there was a broken pillar. That's where it is.
That's where it's at. Level 4.
People went broken pillar. What were you looking?
What?
Why are you looking at that?
Look, landmarks. There's actually several dad moments in the movie that I cackled at. But yeah. So back at the house, Amanda sees some deer and points it out to Ethan Hawke, who calls it a good omen, at least according to Mesoamerican mythology. Which I'll get back to that later. He's like a teacher or a professor or something, though. So
yes.
Oh, and also at this point is where the TV is out, the cable's out, stuff starting to slowly fail.
Yeah, the only person who says it is the daughter, but like they don't make a big deal out of it yet.
Yeah.
Not quite, no.
Yeah. And then that night after the kids are asleep, like the parents are up drinking and playing Jenga, when Amanda hears a car pull up and like she tells Clay to get a bat. And he's like, a bat? Why would I have a bat?
Yeah.
I like that he was kind of like they're opposites.
Like they're not even in their own house, and the liquor cabinet is locked up. They got all this stuff around. You don't know where I'm gonna get a bat.
So then it cuts, and this is what I mean, like it has these little jokes in it. So then it cuts to him pulling out like a piece of decor that he could swing. I don't know what that was.
To be fair, it was a club. It was a club, a planter with 4 clubs in it.
It looked like a piece of coral, like dried coral that was cylindrical.
It would have done.
It would have hurt.
Club.
Yeah, it would have hurt.
That was a whole club.
But it's just funny to like get a bat. It's not our house. Where did you want me to get?
We are an Airbnb. We can barely find a towel.
Let me go get the Airbnb bat. I don't know.
Boo this man. So someone knocks as he grabs the cool, right? And he answers the door, but it's a black man and a woman, Mahershala Ali and Mahala, who awkwardly greet him. And like eventually they point out that they own the house.
That scene there, so awkward.
Like
that, it was so scary. It was so, because it's like,
yeah, I mean, if you were at this Airbnb and someone knocks, I don't know what the fuck to do. Hello?
Not to mention where the house is.
Yeah, there ain't nobody near them.
Yeah, and like, then what's going on?
Yep. So like I get it. I get both sides, because Mahershala also was like, he was nervous because he was choosing his words wisely, but as
Very
Ruth
wisely.
points out, Mahala points out that he thought about going to the side door that's glass so you could see him, but then that would also freak you out. So
absolutely.
So the best bet would be the front door. And then he was trying to explain how he wishes it was back before the internet times, because then you would have had to talk to him on the phone and you would have heard his voice. Yeah. And like, he still hasn't said that I own this house yet. So they're still looking at him like he's crazy.
Because they don't know what he wants. They're like, what?
Yeah, and like,
why are you here?
The Mahala's like, just say it. Like, she keeps like correcting him or trying to like help him get his point across, because she could see he's struggling and like they ain't trying to hear it, or at least they're just confused.
It's like each character had a whole different
Yeah, yeah.
perception of it, because Julia's
Ethan,
husband.
yeah, Ethan
You
Hawke
got
is just happy go lucky.
he's let me help my neighbor, still
Mhm.
holding club, but
Yeah,
very non-threatening.
yeah.
And then you got Julia, who's a
Oh
little
yeah,
scared,
she
annoyed,
immediately went in the
held
racist
back.
mode.
Even the way her arms was being held was like Karen mode.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, where's my phone? I need to call the cops. And then you got I'm gonna get his name wrong again. Mahershala. He's code switching now. He's very okay. I don't want to offend these white folk because they already scared because I'm a black man. So
To
his
be
hands are
fair, that was kind of his regular. But
true.
he was
True.
being careful with his words though.
And
You
then
could
you have
tell
a
he was thinking about it.
then you have an annoyed teen daughter who wants her dad to get it out, and then she's annoyed because the white people look annoyed, and it's like, okay, white people racist. Why they annoyed? Because we at the door. We shouldn't ring the door. This just get it out. Just say what you want. It's our house.
I love that, by the way. So finally, like Clay, or he asked if we could come in, and like Clay lets him in, and like Julia's like extra pissed off. I'm gonna keep switching up their names. I'm sorry. Amanda's extra pissed off, and I love that Mihala Ruth is her character's name. Every
Yeah.
chance she gets, she points out that it's their house. Oh my goodness! So like she's super blunt, and so I'm sorry, let me backtrack a little bit. So
They still let him in.
yeah, they still let him in. And Ruth is like, or Mahershala says that there's a blackout in the city and the phones aren't working. And Ruth is like, yeah, we'd like to stay in our house. So that kind of, at least as audience, we know, okay, it's their house, it's cool. But you
Yeah.
see Amanda really upset about it. And like she asked to talk to Clay in private. And as they leave, Mahershala's like, would it be okay if I made myself a drink? And Clay's like, oh, sure, make yourself right.
Simple, elegant.
Right?
No, help yourself. This,
It was just so funny. Make yourself right. Oh. But see, he already accepted that it's their house, right? Now, Julie Roberts, on the other hand, her white ass.
She's not there yet.
To be fair, there's no proof for anything.
This is true.
It's still two random people at the door, and now she's also now her and the daughter are at it. This is the enemies off the gate.
So the word catty comes from female cats. That's how, like, if you have cats, they say to get two boys if you want more than one, and like they'll get along fine. But if you get two female cats that aren't like already sisters, they won't get along.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so that's where the term catty comes from. So like they smelled each other right away, and they're both two strong personalities.
Yeah.
Immediately, like as soon as they got in, like they didn't even have to talk to each other yet. They already picked up on each other's scent, and was just like, this bitch.
Because here I'm right now I'm more on the couple that's renting the Airbnb side, because I'm more like, okay, this house in the middle of nowhere, blackout in the city where you have a room, but you come here.
Look,
I don't know nothing about you, and I'll you still haven't gotten to the point of what you want, and I'm concerned now. I'll probably be the husband at this point.
I see your point.
I will be the husband at this point, just trying to figure out. No, okay, let's just figure this out. Wife and daughter over there having their world battle.
Oh my god.
But yeah, when they're in the back in private, like Julie unleashes all her microaggressions and rattles off all these vaguely racist scenarios, right? Scenario after scenario.
And daughter call each one.
What if no, she couldn't hear it yet. I mean, this is after they step away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like she was really laying it on. Like she was talking about like, what if he like goes into Rose's room? Like, hold up now. Like, so it's like, for the audience, we're just like, okay, yeah, she just might be like,
And this is
she
where
would
I thought it
definitely
was a racist movie. I was like, so this is a racist movie. Something
look.
happened.
She would definitely call the cops on the cookout, right? Like,
Sunglasses, phone on face.
yeah, this is her, and
She
like
already had the cardigan on.
they're laid it on thick. So Ethan Hawke, though, he's like, look, I'm gonna just keep talking to him, and if I get a bad vibe, I'll ask him to leave. So that's what they go ahead and do. But as soon as he comes back out, Mahershala made him a cocktail. He takes one sip. He's like, "Oh my god!"
I was weak.
He's done. He's on their team. It's Julia by herself now. It's
Best
over.
thing I ever had. What is this? Oh my god.
Honey, you gotta taste this.
He got so happy. He got so happy off of one sip. And like the look on her face was like,
You are not helping.
right? What happened to this team? We're not a team anymore. And Amanda,
And don't forget, they already had the conversation of them working out a deal to stay at the house.
Mm.
oh yeah, he offered to pay.
Yeah.
And he goes and he unlocks. There's a cabinet that was locked, and he unlocks it. So like that would have for me
That should have shut it down right there.
Yeah.
When he had the key.
And he says, "Look, how about I give you back half this?" And he had like an envelope with like $1,000 in it. We also see that there's a gun in the drawer, but they don't see that. And he's like, "You know what? This should help out, right? Trying to grease the wheels, and we can stay downstairs in the in-law suite. That way, I'm not putting you out, but we also have a safe place to be." It would have won me over. I'm sorry. I'm Clay in this moment. Like, oh my god, this cocktail is great. They seem really nice.
Mad in the back.
Yep. Look.
I can see it.
Oh boy. But yeah, so Amanda grills him some more, and like Ruth gets even more annoyed. And then like GH says, I'm sorry, Mahershala's character's name is GH, George something. But GH says that he forgot his ID in his coat that's checked at the symphony, and he must have forgotten it in all the commotion. And then Amanda points out that he previously said he heard about the blackout on his way home, though. So what's the truth? But she gets cut off when the TV blares a national emergency warning, and they realize that it's on every channel, right?
Now let me ask this:
Mm-hmm.
What would you have done if it was your house? Would you have just told him, "Okay, here's your money back. I want my plate. Go bye."
Well, I wouldn't have kicked them out because I'm running from something too. Like I be sending them into danger. One. Two, like they're innocent. They thought they were getting away on a vacation. So I would go about it the way Mahershala did. Say, hey, this house is big. I'm gonna stay here. I'm not gonna put you guys out either. Also, that will just lead to more altercation.
Even encountering the racist white woman.
I mean, yeah, because at least her husband seemed cool, even though she on one. But like, we could draw a line in the sand or something. But at the end of the day, I'm getting in my own house, but I'm also not throwing y'all to the wolves. So that seems fair, right?
Okay.
But yeah, so Clay tells GH and Ruth they should stay and they'll figure it out in the morning. So they head down into the in-law suite in the basement, and then we see Ruth get the sense that her dad isn't telling her everything, and she asks if his client didn't tell him anything else. So now we're like, because the movie's just slowly giving you pieces.
And now I'm thinking this is a different movie. I'm like, okay, is he a spy?
He's a spy. He did show up in a very well dressed.
He's driving a Jaguar.
It was a Bentley.
Was it?
Oh, it had to be. I saw the B.
Oh, snap.
There is a Jaguar that like looks like that one, but yeah, it was the big boy. Was that the Continental? I don't know if it's a Continental GT or not, but it had to be on the rims. But yeah, so upstairs, Amanda gripes about GH and Ruth and asks Clay why he didn't mention the oil tanker, and Clay says he didn't want to keep piling on, right?
And Clay halfway asleep.
Yeah, he already at ease, right?
He good. This
Look,
all right, night over.
And then he asked her the same thing, and Amanda's like, she didn't want to bring it up because it might confirm something. And I kind of get that. Like, if I bring up the oil tanker and I mean, she has all the details, right? So like, or no, not necessarily, but what I mean, like, if she brought up the oil tanker and then there's the blackout and the phones are out, that's a lot of stuff, and
Happened
that
at one
means
time.
something
Yeah.
bad really is happening. But she's
Yeah.
still kind of in denial. But at least she's aware that she's in denial, you know? So that denial continues to the next morning. So next morning, Amanda gets woken up by Rose spazzing out about not being able to watch Friends.
Still.
Still. Then she checks her phone and sees some news alerts came through in the middle of the night, but the signal's gone again. So then she wakes Clay up. And Clay says he'll drive into town to find a newspaper or someone who knows what's going on, and then he'll come back. And he's like, and when they go downstairs, he's talking to Rose because she's still freaking out about the TV. And he's like, maybe I can get some rabbit ears or something. And she's like, why would a rabbit's ear help? Oh,
Oh my god. Talk about feeling old.
Right? You know what's wild to me is after they went digital, people still don't know that you could just get a digital antenna. They think if you
Yeah.
don't have cable, like there's
They all
like,
still
no
exist.
TV.
Yeah. Everything's still
In
there.
fact, you have more channels now.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's not cable, but you have like there's like.
I mean, you have enough. There's still a large amount of channels. You can still you're watching stuff.
Look, I didn't have cable when they made the switch, so like I understand like the digital antenna, and I was like, hey, I got more channels now. This ain't so bad.
My family was the poor family to put the foil in the back of the TV to get some.
Man, I had a safety pin that I'd stick inside the
Yes.
the coax. That look.
Yes.
Look, I'm be frank with you. When someone told me like that trick, they were like, "Oh, you don't know how to nigga the TV?" I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, you put a pin in there. You don't need a whole antenna. Just put the pin, and you just turn the pin around." And I was like, "Huh?" And it worked. And I was like, "Well."
We were working with a little bit too much in equipment at my house. We had like a lot of cars in the yard for my dad being a mechanic. So I had a spare car antenna and a length of about 8 feet of wire.
That's funny.
I taped the car antenna to the wall.
You getting Canadian channels.
And I was like, oh, it'd be better if I put it over here. So I moved it around depending on what channels I was trying to get. Tape it over here, tape it over there, stick it at the top of the piano for this channel. Just real weird stuff.
Meanwhile, I'm putting foil together, trying to make it longer to get better signal.
Nah, but if you had some good rabbit ears, like nothing felt better than that, where you didn't have to struggle. You like it was already working. You changed the channels, already got a good signal. I remember the brand too. Anyway, reminiscing, revealing our age.
Television.
So then Rose goes outside and she can't, since she can't watch the show, right? And then she sees a bunch of deer staring at her. Like more deer are showing up, and like the camera pans out. There's a whole bunch in the trees too, just watching. And she walks up to them too. Anyway, so Ruth wakes up. Rose is Julie Roberts and Ethan Hawke's daughter. Ruth is Mahershala's daughter. So if I flip them, call me on it. Because I was, even when I was writing stuff down, I was like mixing up their names. So Ruth wakes up and meets a man in the kitchen, and like they try to catch up, but it didn't take long before they get tired of each other. And Amanda wants to keep whatever's going on from the kids, so they don't panic over nothing. And Ruth disagrees, saying that she doesn't think this is nothing.
Well.
Mm-hmm. And GH joins them, and Ruth gets Amanda to tell them that she got 2 notifications about the blackout, and one saying that it might be hackers.
You mean that like that movie?
Just like the movie.
Yeah.
Crash Overdrive, right?
Hack the planet.
And meanwhile, GH sitting there knowing a little bit too much.
Just a little bit. But Amanda already figures he knows more than he's letting on, right? So even though she got mad microaggressions, like she catches like how he's presenting himself and how the little continuity errors in his story. But yeah, so Amanda leaves, and then Ruth says that she's worried about her mom, who was supposed to be flying home from Europe, and she doesn't know what else to think about aside from negative shit. So keep that in mind. Her mom is supposed to be on a plane right now. So Rose and Archie go out into the woods, and they find a shack, and she tells them that she saw a lot of deer earlier, and she's like, a lot of deer, like a fuckwad of deer. And then they go exploring some more, and like Rose sees a house she wants to go to, but Archie says, fuck it, let's go back because he's hungry. And like from the same spot, Rose sees a view of the city and like a whole bunch of birds flying.
And meanwhile, Ethan's on a road trip.
Yeah, so Clay stops the car and gets out to look around while the radio's like scanning for radio stations. And then like while he's outside the car, we hear that like it stops on one radio station for a little bit, and it says the cyber attack caused an environmental disaster in the South affecting animal migration patterns. And then it started searching again. But then he gets back in, he turns the car around, and he comes across a woman panicking, speaking Spanish, and he drives off and leaves her because he has no idea what she's saying. I
And the
looked it
movie
up.
doesn't do any subtitles either.
Yeah, it does the thing where it just leaves
It's
you in the
immersion.
dark.
It's immersion.
Yeah.
I know a little bit of Spanish. There was a lot of I have to get to my family.
Yeah, it was.
I haven't seen anyone else all day. Please help.
I looked it up, and it was exactly what you think she was saying. Like she don't know what's going on either, but she's asking for help, basically.
Yeah.
And he said,
"Would you have helped her?"
He said,
not knowing what she was saying.
I probably would have. I put it to you like this: one day, I took my mom to the VA. I dropped her off, and like I had some time to kill. Like I don't know where I was going, but I think I was looking for parking or something. And I was going to wait there for her. But then a parking lot attendant like flagged me down that was with an old man. And she was like, he says he knows you. He says, and he's like, yeah, that's Tifron. And I was like, what? I don't know this old man. But she was like, do you know him? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, yeah, man, he's going to give me a ride home. That's Tifron. And I was like, okay. I let him get in. Now, mind you, I'm not going to say it on the podcast what my license plate is. It's partly my name, but it's not my name. But he said my name, not what's on my license plate. And I was like, that's a sign. So I took the man home. I don't know how he knew he was bullshitting, but somehow he said my name. And I was like, well, that's a sign. So I took him home and crossed the river, whole other city, and we chatted, and it was a good conversation. And I got him home, and I drove back across the river back to the VA. And I told the group chat that, and they were like, you could have died. What the fuck? Like, it would be you. What are you doing giving random people? I was like, this man could barely walk. He had a walker. Like, what? It's old ass man.
It's not like you found some 25-year-old 6'3" dude.
Yeah,
on the road, you found an old man.
Yeah, it wasn't some grown ass man with a stick and a handkerchief like hitchhiking. It was an old man at the VA. It's an old veteran, and I don't know how he got there, and I don't know how he was planning on getting home. But people some people just know that things are going to work out, and like, hey, that's God told him this dude's name is Tifron, and she's like, yeah, that's Tifron. I know him. Yeah, that's my boy.
He overheard that shit in the VA. Come on.
Look, but it worked out, and I didn't die, and I felt good about myself. Yeah, but they were like, yo, you would do that, just giving these random ass people rides. Man,
that man walked into his house, and an angel came around the corner and said, did he do it? He's like, he did it. So, all right, then we'll mark it down.
Look, I'm not gonna let y'all rob me of my jewels and my crown. But anyway, so as he leaves poor Spanish lady screaming, then he notices that there's a plane flying above, or it's a drone, and it's dropping something that at first it looks like gas, because if I'm not mistaken, she even said it in Spanish that there was something that was dropping red gas. But when it got closer, you saw that it was actually flyers. Then it cuts. So now we got GH, and he drives a couple miles up the road to the neighbors, the Huxleys, but nobody's home. But the place is a mess, and there's stuff scattered all over the yard, and there's a tree branch broken, and there's even stuff on top of the roof, right? And he goes inside, but nobody's home, and he's looking for a satellite phone that he knows they have. Eventually he finds it, but he still gets no signal, because it's wild, because as long as you have a clear view of the sky, it should work, right? Then something tells him to go to the back of the house, and he sees more things across the grass, and in the back of the house is the beach. And
wait, no, he got the satellite phone from his own garage.
No, that was the Huxleys.
That's the Huxley's house.
Yeah.
I thought he didn't before he left his house, he got, I'm thinking things out of order. Okay, never mind.
No, because he walked through the wet house, and then he had to go in the garage and look through a couple of different things in the garage to find it.
Because he didn't know where it was. He was just, this must be where it might be, and he found it eventually. But he went back to the car defeated because it wasn't working. But then something told him to go around back, and he got to the beach and he saw a watch sticking out of the sand.
Okay,
and he goes to pull it up, and it's attached to a severed arm. And then he realizes that there's a dead pilot in the sand. Side note: that's the director.
That's the director.
Yeah, his director cameo was the dead pilot.
He pulled that hand out of the ground like a lucky rabbit's foot,
Yeah.
like a privileged white man's hand.
But then he realizes, like, it's not just a dead pilot, but around him, it was a plane crash. That's why there's just random stuff thrown everywhere.
I don't know how people
How-
miss that in movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's always in movies and TV shows to be like, huh, a tiny subtle detail on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
a
whole
fuselage.
A whole car just thrown to the side of a building. When did that get there?
Like
you got no peripheral vision.
That's exactly what happened. Because if he had looked up, he would have seen anything. But he was looking at his feet, walking.
You didn't see the bodies sprayed around.
He just turned around in a slow motion, like, stop acting stupid.
He was so fixated on the shiny thing and the sands.
He like sitting there like,
I'm saying this ridiculous, but at the same time, I think I've done this before. I'm walking, looking at my feet, and then I say, "Ooh, it's a coin or something," and then it's like, "Oh man, I'm about to get ran over." But yeah, so if that's not bad enough, then he realizes that there's a plane falling out of the sky heading straight towards him. So I'm not going to say he hauls ass because I feel like he could have ran faster. But
he does not move quickly.
No, he doesn't.
He definitely white people ran.
Yeah, it wasn't even like he looked like his form was like Shaggy from Scooby Doo, but he wasn't moving like Shaggy from Scooby Doo.
He was running like his feet hurt.
I mean, to his credit, I've never ran with church shoes in sand before, so I don't. but yeah, so he
was trying to do his best with that. That's a good point.
Yeah, and also he's like, I guess he's in shock. I don't know. Anyway, he gets back to the house just in the nick of time and shuts the door. But Ryder's like, because the plane lands, I guess the plane lands in the water and it causes a wave of like water and sand to rush up and hit the house. And it like smashes through the windows.
How far was he where they didn't hear that?
He said it was 2.5 miles away. He literally said the exact distance. He said the Huxley lived 2.5 miles up the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could kind of see it, but also nah.
Yeah, later on in the movie, you start hearing random things outside, like explosions and stuff. So it's possible that they heard it and
the plane just fell. Didn't really explode, just kind of fell.
Yeah, so it would have been a boom.
Yeah.
I think 2.5 miles,
like the
boom. Yeah.
Large thunk.
So yeah. So shortly after that, a loud ear-piercing noise begins, and we see everyone except Clay get hit by it, right? And they all put their hands over their ears. And then everyone makes it back to the house except for Clay, and they talk about what that could have been. I'm like, was it a plane breaking a sound barrier? Yada, 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 yada. And Amanda keeps pressing GH to try and find out if he knows more than he's letting on. And in the process, she lets it slip that he saw planes crash, which upsets Ruth because... Ruth is already upset, so she gets upset further, and then she starts
mad the whole movie.
Yeah, so she starts getting into it with Amanda again, and Amanda's like, "I don't believe you. I haven't believed you since you walked in the front door." And then Ruth is like, "Golly, I wonder what it is about us that makes you so mistrustful." And Mahershala's like, "Ruth," and Julie Roberts goes, "You always, Amanda, you always think you know what you're talking about, don't you?" Man, Ruth goes, "Well, ain't that the pot calling the kettle black?"
The way she says
the way she
black.
said it. It was like, ooh. Okay.
And that shut her up.
Yeah, that shut her up.
He wasn't interested in talking anymore.
Yeah, and then Clay comes back. And he shows him that one of the flyers that was dropped, right? And it had Arabic writing on it. And then the son Archie, side note, there's also a son Archie, I haven't mentioned that, pops up. And he says, "Oh, that says Death to America. I know that from the game I play. That means Death to America." And they're all like, ugh. Then it cuts to white people getting in the car and taking off to go back to the city.
They were done.
And Julie Roberts is like, "This is what's best for everyone." Which I don't know. Maybe I know too much watching the movie. It seemed like an odd thing. Oh, Death to America. Well, I'm getting the hell out of here. Oh no, that's right. Never mind. It's not weird because she said that they were going to go to her sister's house in New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
and Mahershala's like, "But you got to drive through the city to get there." And she's like, whatever, we're gone.
We'll risk it.
Yeah.
Trust you, black folk.
I get it.
So
Okay.
bad.
So in the car we see the gang headed back to the city, and Rose says she can't stay asleep because of the sirens we hear playing in the background. Then they come to a stop because there's a traffic jam up ahead, but it's all white Teslas. And like Amanda tells Clay to stay in the car and watch the children while she goes to check it out. But then upon closer inspection, she realizes all the white Teslas are brand new and have no drivers. They drove themselves and caused the road blockage by smashing into each other. And there's more Teslas coming down the street right now. Like, this part was pretty cool. So she runs back to the car and she like makes Clay get in the passenger seat. He's like, "What's going on?" "Oh, hey, I see another car. We let's flag him down." And she's like, "Get in the car, get in the car." And like she gets in the driver's seat and then she starts dodging the Teslas the best she can. And it was pretty neat because like the camera was like in the middle of the car and it was doing that 360 thing.
Yeah.
That was cool. So then it cuts back to Mahershala and Ruth opening the front door and it's them.
Aha.
Hey,
Aha. The tides have turned.
Guys.
what's up?
We're back. Hi. We made a mistake.
Right?
We shouldn't
You
have
tried to
left.
tell us.
Traffic was murder.
Hi. Hey. How are you doing? How's your day going?
You
Did you
said
eat?
traffic was murder.
The only part that really irked me about them coming back is the sleeping arrangements.
Yeah, they should have changed. As soon as they left, Mahershala should have taken his room back.
Right. No, it's done now. Y'all can stay in the basement.
Like that's as soon as they left, they should have went and start changing the sheets. But they didn't.
Yeah, I especially would have been like claimed.
But Ruth points that out, so I can't take points away from the movie for it. She's like, "Why are we still fucking down here?"
That was my question. I was like, why? No, I don't care. Y'all downstairs. Just figure it out.
It's funny. So yeah. So nobody knows what the heck to do at this point, right? And like we see Rose laying in bed stressing that she can't finish Friends. The joke continues.
And the son is staring at pictures of
yeah. He's spanking at the pictures he took of Ruth on the sneak. Or
calm down there, Shinji.
Or the mother's feet. Because her feet were in the picture. She was sitting next to
There's
Ruth.
only so many jokes you can make about feet before people think you're into feet.
I'm just pointing that out.
Are you into feet?
I'm not. I'm just saying. Somebody is.
Stop trying to get us more fans.
Toronto. I don't know why I picked Toronto. Sorry, Toronto.
Quentin Tarantino has entered the chat.
Hey, why don't you guys watch one of my movies?
So Ruth finds Clay filling up the tub with water and then invites him to the backyard to smoke her weed vape. And then she starts fucking with him by asking him if he ever fucked one of his students. And he's like, what? No. So then Amanda plays with the light switches and like we see her accidentally cut on the pool lights and we see a bunch of deer staring at them outside real quick. Did you catch that?
Yes.
It was just their eyes.
That was a lot.
Just out there already. Just
it's like, hey, bro,
what y'all doing? What y'all got in there?
Y'all got some vegetables.
I forgot to say when Ruth was telling Archie about the deer, she was like, "It's like they were trying to tell me something," which I guess is important, but we'll get there. So after she finally figures out the lights or whatever, she sat down to drink with GH and like she apologizes for how she treated them and like they make up and they start to get chummy and then GH reveals that he has this big client. He's a money man for a living, right? As well as being on the board of the Philharmonica or whatever.
That's what they do. This guy has a bunch of money. He can make decisions about music.
Yeah. And he has this big client that's well known and well connected that joked about being a part of an evil cabal that runs the world from the shadows. Then he recently got a call from him and asked GH to move massive amounts of money around for him. And GH jokes about him going off to this evil cabal meeting, and the client didn't find that funny this time, when usually he would have. Yeah. Like, he laughed at everything, but he didn't laugh this time.
Oops.
And he just says, "Take care of yourself." So Amanda asked him if he thinks his friend is part of the group of people like that's behind this, and he says, "No, I think nobody runs the world like that. But there are people who just know enough to get a head start, right?" So like he's saying that, like, even though he's talking about evil cabal or whatever, he's like, "Nah, they're not in charge. They just they just knew enough to dip out. But
Yeah.
just shit's happening now, and that's the best we got. Like nobody's actually, or not that nobody's doing this, but like it's not some secret society. Illuminati isn't doing this, but they moved their money around because they saw it coming, which I believe that part.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, follow the money. So Clay and Ruth, they get high and they chat about stuff, which eventually freaks Ruth out at all the possibilities of what could be happening, right? And then they get distracted because a bunch of flamingos landed in the pool behind them. Don't flamingos live in Florida?
Yes, they do.
So like they flew
That's a
all the way
way.
up to New York.
That is a
Yeah.
ways.
But they didn't see the deer outside. So then GH takes Amanda down to his music room to show her a good time.
That's a lot of records, dog.
Yeah, he had a whole wall. And
He's a
he has
collector.
he has this whole wall full of vinyls, and like he pulls out some jazz, and she's like, "What the fuck is that? I thought you said you were gonna show me a good time." And he's like,
Oh, we
"This
were gonna
is
have
jazz." Like he was like hurt. And she was like, "How about this one?" And she pulls out a vinyl record of Next, R&B group from the 90s. And apparently that was from Ruth's DJ phase, which is funny because
Yeah. It's still old for her.
Yeah. So she puts it on and she starts dancing, and they start dancing Too Close. So if you've ever heard that song,
man,
like it's the song that, so if you don't know, I mean, I grew up hearing this song, and it's about dude dancing in the club with the girl, and she's dancing too close, and he starts to get a boner. So it's already funny in that sense.
How you gonna change a Christmas song into that? do. I got a boner.
You know what? That. Oh my goodness! I never realized that.
Yeah, that's
it's
Curtis Blow.
Curtis Blow. Yeah.
Merry Christmas, and so a boner, I guess.
That's funny. Anyway, so there's that level of hilarity that
it's all on the nose from that for the next few minutes.
That's playing as they dance and they literally start moving closer. But also her white woman dancing. Specifically, I think she's doing the Elaine dance from Seinfeld.
She's somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, the with the kicks in the, but well, it's not completely
Like
the Elaine dance.
Living on ice.
She
I
starts
think the director probably asked her, "Could you dance white?" And she said, "I'm offended. Of course I can't."
But she it's definitely like some of her own moves, and then she kind of slips the Elaine in there. But she starts out with the, and I paused the movie. I'm not gonna lie, I paused the movie and I immediately texted Karreem. I was like, "Didn't nobody tell me about this dance scene?"
I immediately wanted to find any other music that's on the same tempo and just see if I could like just put it up random places. Cause the whole scene is like, what are y'all doing?
It's so cringy, but it's clearly meant as a joke. And like it starts out really funny, and then they end up hugging, and it's like, hold up, we're drunk and scared. And like, and then he almost starts to cry because he's like, man, I really miss my wife, and I don't think she's, after seeing 2 planes fall out the sky.
Absolutely, he's valid.
I think she's dead. Like it was like, oh.
I mean, even if it's the core possibility that she was able to not get on the plane because there's so much chaos.
Yeah.
How are you gonna see her again?
Yeah, and even if she got on the plane, she made it, then none of it matters because the phones are down. Like what? We have no way of knowing until we get through this of if my wife is okay. Anyway, so as funny and goofy and cringy as that scene was, it ended on a heavy note, which apparently was on purpose.
Yeah. No, it felt like you thought you were gonna get out of this with just silly.
But yeah,
and I'm glad they did not actually have sex and cheat.
That's what I was about to say. We both were when I texted him. He said that, and I was like, "Man, me too." Like, not even on a oh no, like I hope they don't hook up thing. It's like, oh, like their family is upstairs. One, his wife is dead, or I mean,
I was doubly worried about it because they had the daughter ask the husband if he ever cheated. And they're just out there smoking weed together. I'm like, why you start with that?
It would have turned the movie cringy if either couple,
then
either group,
either of them did it.
Poor feverish white boy up in the bed whacking it, and everybody else getting some.
And it was definitely on purpose, but like to set you up, and I was like, just don't keep going, and they didn't. But it
All the
was
weirdness and panic makes sense, but dang, do you have to?
yeah, we don't got to do this. So thankfully, it doesn't happen. But then, then the noise hits him again, and Amanda and GH and Ruth and Clay and Rose. We see all five of them cover their ears, right? And like it's really bad this time, and it breaks more glass. It breaks out some lights. Where the first time it only cracked a couple panes of glass, way harder this time, right? But we only see the five of them react to it. So keep that in mind. So next morning, the whole family slept in the same bed, or the whole white family slept in the same bed. And when Archie gets up, he spits up some blood and he pulls out 4 teeth, which freaks him and the
After
parents
tooth
out.
number 1, I was like, "Sir, stop doing that."
Stop pulling, right? And he was
What are you 8? Cut that out.
I
he
mean,
was like
technically, they're already out. They're already like they're
loose.
not. Yeah,
Yeah, but still, I would have I pulled the first one out. I might be trying to push it back in. Like I don't want to believe it.
it was gross though. The
I
whole
ain't
scene was
pulling
gross.
nothing out, right? But yeah, I actually thought this was a dream the first time I saw it because I was like, "Ain't no way this is
No,
happening."
yeah, that seems that's believable.
Yeah, it was just wild. I was like, "Oh nah," and then I was trying to think like how it could happen. Like, and I was like, "Oh yeah, he did get bit by a bug, but that seems extreme." And they even mention it. They're like, "He got bit by a bug," and then GH was like, "Oh well, Lyme disease."
That's a fast reaction.
Yeah,
That
and that's a strong reaction.
yeah.
Like it like froze Justin Bieber's face for a little bit, but he all right now. But like
I did
spitting
not
up
know
the
that.
blood and the teeth falling out, that was rough. So yeah, and then they also realized that Rose is missing.
A little bit.
You're right. So pause on that. Actually, no pause. I'll come back to this moment. Just remind me. The Rose goes missing part.
Okay.
So yeah, Rose is missing, and Arthur throws up more blood. So GH and Clay set out to Danny's house, and that's the local contractor that GH used before, and it's the same dude that what's her name, Amanda Julie Roberts saw at the grocery store stocking up all the water. And Mahershala had said earlier in the movie that like, yeah, that must be Danny. He's a contractor. That he's a prepper. This is just a usual weekend for him. If you saw him
That's
loading
my
up on
boy
water and
Dizzy
stuff.
Dan.
But he was packing hard at the gas station.
Yeah, yeah. So they were going to go see him because if there's anybody that might have something that could help Archie, it would be him. And Julie Roberts and Ruth, they go to try and find Rose. And the girls end up at the shed in the woods, and then they start getting at each other, right? And like Ruth confronts Julie Roberts on why she's so angry, and Amanda confesses that she sees the worst in people she works with, and she's not better because she treated Ruth and her dad like shit too, and she doesn't want to be like that. And Ruth kind of comforts her and says she disagrees with how she does or how she is, but in this moment, she agrees with everything she just said. And like Amanda says, I don't want to be like this. I know I said I hate people, but I'd do anything to have them back. Because it's like, now we're in an apocalypse. Look at you.
Yeah.
So then they hear noises outside and they go outside to see what's happening, right?
Yeah.
But it cuts over to, it's actually interspliced these two scenes, but I'd split them up for narrative reasons. So meanwhile, with GH and Clay, they arrive at Danny's house and they're not welcome. Like he answers the door with a shotgun. And they try to explain that they got a sick kid, and even though Danny points out that it was probably the noise, which was probably a microwave weapon, which produces a kind of radiation that can be beamed out through sound, and that's why he's puking blood and like his teeth are falling out. And because of the limited information getting out, Danny assumes it's the start of a war, but we don't know for sure, so they just need to sit tight and be safe. But he's not trying to give him shit. And he asked them to get off the porch again, right? Or to leave the property. So that microwave thing, that's I don't know if it no one knows if it's real or not, I guess, but they
It's
investigated
not
it.
a thing.
Yeah, so what happens is in Cuba some years ago, some folks this stuff happened to them, and it ended up being like a total like 2,000 different people, and they investigated it and they couldn't prove that it was real, but they only found a solid explanation for maybe like 18 people out of like the 2,000 folks that were affected that had different symptoms. But in some cases, the throwing up blood and teeth falling out because of radiation was some of them, and most of them had other symptoms, right? But still, the conspiracy theory is that there's some sort of microwave weapon that did it. but they couldn't prove it, or they said they couldn't prove it. So that's where he got that from. So GH stands his ground and he says they're not leaving until they get what they need. And remember the gun from earlier? Well, now he got it. And Danny aims a shotgun at GH, and GH whips out the handgun, and Clay starts screaming, "Ah, what the fuck is happening?" Just put the gun down. We'll find another way to the hospital. There is no other way to the hospital. Besides, he's not going to shoot us. And Danny cocks the gun. It sounds like he's going to shoot us.
It does, though.
That was weak. Like, he's just the way, like, Ethan Hawke, his acting in this, I mean, he's a good actor, but, like, in this part, just the way he was freaking out was so funny.
And fantastic at the job. It just cracked me up.
Yeah, it was so funny. And you could tell that it was supposed to be, like, even though it was serious, like, you could tell it was supposed to be a little funny. So then Clay jumps in between the two men with the guns in an effort to de-escalate things, and he tries to reason with Danny, right? I have no idea what's going on right now. I barely do anything without my cell phone and GPS. I am a useless man, but my son is sick and my daughter is missing, and I don't know what to do. And he just begs, basically. Like, this is...
I ain't had nothing but respect for it.
No,
Yeah, because
he
honestly,
put it in terms that man couldn't say
yeah.
no to and not feel guilty about.
He says, look, I'm a useless man, but you are not. You were prepared. And all I can do is just ask you to save my son, because I feel like if you were in my situation, you would do the same. Like, please, like, if you have anything that can help. And then it cuts to him counting money. It's the money that GH offered him before. And then they got some medicine, I guess some iodine pills or something. That's how you treat radiation, right? If you're not completely dead yet.
I think so.
Yeah. And it's funny because Danny's like, well, it was only a matter of time before we started the barter system anyway. And Ethan Hawke's at the car system. Like, it's not really a barter system, it's cash.
I mean, it's very simple. Like, if everyone still agrees that money is worth something,
yeah,
you still use it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, because it's really just an agreement. It's just an agreement in the first place.
Yeah. So then Danny tells him that the Koreans or the Chinese are behind all of this. And he mentions that some flyers were dropped off on the West Coast, because I guess he has some network that he's talking to other preppers with, right? Were dropped off on the West Coast with Asian writing on it. So then GH comes out and, like, they give him the flyer that they had and had Arabic on it. And he's like, oh, well, the guy who told me about the West Coast, he did 4 tours in Iraq, and he would know if it was Arabic and not Chinese.
He'd know the difference, yeah.
Yeah, mildly racist.
If dude kept saying Korea or China, you know, same thing.
You know, whatever.
It's like, yikes, stop this.
You know, on brand, though. So he was like, oh, well, we do have a lot of enemies, so they probably teamed up. So then back in the car, like, GH has a realization, and then he, like, lays it out. He gives it to Ethan Hawke straight, right? Since my primary client works in defense, I spend a lot of time studying the cost-benefit analysis of military campaigns. There was one program in particular that terrified my client the most. A simple 3-stage maneuver that could topple a country's government from within. The first stage is isolation. Disable their communication and transportation. Make the target as deaf, dumb, and paralyzed as possible, setting them up for the second stage, synchronized chaos. Terrorize them with covert attacks and misinformation, overwhelming their defense capabilities, leaving their weapon systems vulnerable to extremists and their own military. Without a clear enemy or motive, people would start turning on each other. If done successfully, the third stage would happen on its own. Coup d'etat, civil war, collapse. This program was considered the most cost-effective way to destabilize a country, because if the target nation was dysfunctional enough, it would, in a sense, do the work for you. Whoever started this wants us to finish it. And I was like, damn, he right.
I was weak.
Yeah, right.
I was weak.
Everything makes sense.
It's like when you see your two friends in the hallway, and you tap them both on the back real hard, and then you slip away, and they be like, I told you to stop touching me. I told you the same thing. And then now they're both in ISS, and you flirt with their girlfriends.
Oh, no.
Karreem knows what I'm talking about.
A little bit. Not really, though.
And so back to the ladies in the woods, right? Amanda goes off to see if she sees Rose or whatever, right? But then she turns around to see Ruth is almost completely surrounded by the Dare Squad, gang, gang, and she's frozen with fear. And like the deer kept creeping closer until Amanda pops up next to Ruth, flailing and screaming. And Ruth eventually snaps back to it, and she joins her, and they both starts flailing and screaming. And the confused deer peace out because they're afraid of white women too.
I was gonna say that whole thing with the deer. It was like they're watching the people, like we watch animals in zoos. And then I thought to myself, the deer are exactly what it's like to be at a SZA concert. The women are the SZA concert. I would run out.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
I'm usually in lockstep with you, and I was like,
It's just not my thing. Okay, you can like different music.
All right.
Note to self: Tim really hates this. I remember not when she first came out, but I guess a little after she started getting like big. I just started a new job. Or no, I was already at a job. This girl was new, and this girl was talking to her supervisor, and like the supervisor was low key flirting, but the girl was like, "Oh yeah, this weekend I'm going to a SZA concert."
Oh,
And like she's a white girl, and the supervisor was a black guy, and like he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he looked back at her, and was like, "Oh, okay." And like he didn't have the heart to tell her, so he just let her. Yeah, I love SCA.
oh
And I'm over by myself, like,
what do you do? What do you do? It's like,
yeah, she's my favorite. Yeah, see, and he's the look on his face is like I almost saw his like crush go away. Like he stopped flirting with her after that. I was
that's
like,
really
damn.
unfortunate sound.
Right. But also good power dynamics.
Yeah.
Anyway,
maybe don't.
yeah. So Amanda thinks she sees Rose's bike tracks. Well, I guess Rose took. They did mention that a bike was missing, and Rose, she sees bike tracks on the ground, and like they follow them, and they come to the same. They come to a pause, and like it's the same spot from before, and like Amanda sees the house that Rose saw before, and like she beckons Ruth over, but Ruth is frozen again. So she goes back over to her, and she sees what she's looking at, and it's the view of the city, but there's a mushroom cloud coming out of it. And then another explosion goes off next to it.
Boy.
And then you see them hold hands. So, yeah, so like, now it's like this is the moment where Amanda really accepts that shit got real. But also, they bonded.
Yeah.
So now the camera kind of zooms in a little bit closer towards the city, and then it turns and it floats over to the house that they were looking at, or Amanda was looking at. And inside or outside there's a bike, and you see that Rose broke the window in the door and let herself in. And inside, Rose is eating all the snacks.
Yes.
All the Sour Patch Kids, the Cheez-Its, Ocean Spray.
She got the clear Ocean Spray just turned up like a 40. She is in there.
She raided that pantry and all the snacks, and Cheetos. She got Cheeto dust all on her hands. Side note, props to the continuity, because they kept the Cheeto dust on her hands, on her fingers for the next part.
They did.
You noticed that?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Full gremlin mode.
And this is I didn't mention it, but like Danny had mentioned in their little standoff that his contractor friend worked on a bunker for another family nearby. So he said you should check on them because they got a bunker. Or he didn't say it was a bunker, but he described it. He was like, that's rich people code for doomsday bunker.
Yeah.
So this is the house. So she gets up and she starts exploring, and she finds the bunker. She goes down in there, and it's not just very spacious and fully stocked with supplies, but also has some kind of emergency system notification thing.
Yeah, some sort of. In a way, it was kind of like the same way ham radios work. It seemed like it must be going off of like just rudimentary radio systems, but it was computer setup.
Yeah.
I'm still mad that she broke in.
Hey,
She did not
I'm gonna
care.
get to that because remember I said I'm circle back to them in the bed.
Yeah.
So yeah, and not only does it have all of that, but it also has an entertainment center with a DVD collection, support physical media, and the DVDs collection included the final season of Friends. So she puts it on and finally smiles as the Friends theme song cuts on, and you see her face lit up, and she finally smiles for the first time in the movie, and she finally gets to the last episode, and like the Friends theme song starts playing and the credits start rolling.
I was like, they didn't.
The
I
whole
stood
movie.
up.
The whole movie.
I stood up and I was like, they fucking didn't.
Look, I love it. They built that joke. This movie was 2 hours and 15 minutes long. They built that joke for 2 hours and like for not the first scene, but the
They
second
really
scene.
just
From the
sat down
second
and
scene
did the
of the
whole
movie
thing.
all the way to the final shot,
Mm-hmm.
they built that joke.
Yep.
Loved it.
Patience.
So back to you saying you mad she broke in. So in the bed, when they're all in the bed, she was talking to the mom, and she tells this story that Christians say, and I'm not going to get it verbatim the way she tells it because she told it a little different, but I'm gonna say it the way like I know it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so there's a flood coming, and there's a woman, and she's very religious, and she's like, okay, I'm not going to leave my house because God's going to protect me. And so flood comes, this bad storm, water rises, first floor gets flooded. And the guy comes by in a rowboat and he's like, hey, I'm here to save you. I'm going to take you to safety. She's like, nah, don't worry about me. God got me. The Lord will provide. So keeps raining. Floodwaters keep rising. Now she's on the second floor, whole first floor flooded. A guy in a speedboat comes by. Ma'am, I'm here to save you. I'll take you to safety. She's like, no, don't worry about me. The Lord will provide. And he's like, all right, bet. And he scoots off. And keeps raining. Floodwaters keep rising. Now she's on the roof. The whole first and second floor flooded out. A Coast Guard cutter sails up to her. It's like, hey, we're here to save you. And she's like, nope, leave me alone. The Lord will provide. And they're like, all right, well. And the Coast Guard cutter sails off. And the flood kept rising, and she dies. She drowns. She gets to heaven, meets Jesus, and she's like, why didn't you save me? She's pissed off. And he's like, I sent you 3 boats. What more do you want? So that's essentially the story that Rose tells her mother. And when she finishes, she's like, and I'm done waiting. And like the mom looks at her like, what?
The hell you talking about?
Yeah, and they go to sleep. And then the next morning, Rose is missing. And she went to that house. She broke into that house. And she finds, I mean, she didn't know ahead of time that that was the house with the bunker. But, you know, children be knowing. Plus, she probably talked to the deer. And the deer was trying to tell her that, hey, that house got a bunker. Y'all good. And then if you think back to what Danny told him, it was just a quick throwaway line. He says, maybe we should just sit tight and wait it out. So like these two things combined, it's like, oh, that's the solution. And so the movie, now I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but the movie's about like it explores humanity and like, you know, Julie Roberts got all these microaggressions and shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And then it also like, so there's like the racial level and then there's the class level because Mahershala is rich. And like they kind of said that they were like not completely struggling, but like
They both had to work hard to have what they had.
yeah, and that money was definitely on their mind because she was like the husband Ethan Hawke was like worried about budget cuts and possibly losing his job, but they still had enough money to rent a $2,000 Airbnb for the weekend, right? So they weren't completely struggling, but still they weren't Mahershala rich. They didn't have a Bentley. They drove a Jeep. So there's like the class level, the race level, and then you know there are differences and they're clashing and whatnot. But the moral of the movie is, you know, will you choose humanity in these situations? And like eventually humanity won out. Like they started to bond. Eventually they got along, and like then Danny came around and gave the medicine and whatnot because he chose to be nice to people. The only time that humanity wasn't chosen was when Ethan Hawke left the Spanish Navy. But yeah, like that seems to be the moral. So like Rose, that story to me was like she's like maybe the answer is already in front of us. Like we're sitting here stressing. Maybe we just need to stop and think about it. And like she was like, well, let me go see what this house has. Oh, look, it's got a bunker.
How about that?
Yeah, like we already, we learned how to deal with each other, and now we have a bunker of the perfect spot to just wait it out, just like Danny said. So everything worked out for him in the
I'll
end,
be
even though we don't
mad.
see it work out. But like,
So everybody's gonna go to that house now because at the end of it, you hear the mom knocking on the door, yelling the girl's name. So the whole family's gonna end up in there now. They
Then
got
what's
the
gonna
bunker,
happen is
and then
the
the people
family.
who own the bunker
they're gonna come
gonna
home.
show up, be like, "What the heck is this?"
Part
It's gonna
two.
be like part two. Yeah. Who are you? Well, see,
Family's
some
gonna
What
folks
use the
should come and
bunker
happened?
look
and
at this
not share.
house that we have. We in here, and Mahershala Ali is gonna be the first one to go. You got to leave.
Yep.
But it's our house.
Mm-mm.
Finders keepers,
Look,
and
they
we're the
better
finders.
they better hope them Teslas keep them roadblock.
Not the Teslas.
That
It's
cracked me up because in order to use those cars, Tesla has to say yes. And they're not fully automated the way they are in that movie, but it just helps substantiate one of Tesla's real life lies.
So what had happened is when the trailer came out, Elon Musk got the wrong message from that and tweeted, "Oh, and they also, because of the solar panels, like they can charge without worrying about gasoline or whatever, right?" And then all these places were like, "Yo, you missing the point, bro.
Yeah.
We should fear self-driving cars because this shit can happen."
He was not getting the message.
Completely over his head. But yeah, so what was y'all's favorite aspect of the movie?
I kind of like the way everybody had moments. Well, I guess except for the two little white children. Everyone had moments where they had to give in and trust somebody.
Yeah.
The only,
Let
as
go
you
of
were saying,
control.
the only person that didn't get benefit of that is a poor Spanish lady, like walking down Route 91, like, damn, where am I supposed to go now?
She had a long walk too. 'Cause that was in the middle of
She's like,
nowhere.
Yeah.
she's like, Cavite Boca, let me in the car.
Karreem.
Favorite aspect? I don't know. Like, nothing really stuck out. The deer, I guess the animals, the deer. I thought, and the flamingos. I thought that was cool how they kind of signified the end of something major happening. Because animals always first know.
See, I couldn't quite put my finger on it though. I did catch that, like when he mentioned that the deer were a good omen, even though it was. I think what it is like they kind of play it like the deer are scary, but they're not. And like he says it early on that they're a good omen, and it was a sign that things are going to work out for them, even though they were rolling deep for no reason.
They were terrifying in a way.
Well,
Yeah,
they were rolling deep because there was so much chaos going around. They were sticking with each other.
Yeah, they're sticking with each other. And then she also said, or not also, because it's a different person talking. He said, or the dad says that they're a good omen, and then the daughter says that it's like they're trying to tell us something. And I know I made the joke that she talked to the deer and they told her about the house. I'm not going to go as far as to say that was real, but they definitely like. I don't even think it was a red herring. The movie kind of like. Oh, they're a threat. Even like when she accidentally cuts the light on and you see them outside real quick, like they make it seem like it's a threat, but they're not. And I'm not completely sure what that is. If that's just like if it is a red herring, or if it's like, oh no, the real issue is that they need to. Humanity is the threat, and they need to be nice to each other, not the deer. The deer just watching.
I mean, animals definitely do change their behavior violently when there is too much. Okay, so in the same way that you won't see like a bunch of deer in the suburbs, you'll eventually start to see them when they realize it's not so bad. You'll have one or two deer just randomly be in somebody's backyard, even out in the suburbs with very little cover. But then on top of that, you get some noise in the woods that they don't like. Well, now they're just up in your yard looking for food because it seems safer than being out in the woods.
Yep,
I
like
got
planes
you.
crashing around you.
Like planes crashing around you.
I got you.
They up in your backyard like, hey, little girl, you got any grass or some pine cones? I know that stuff is normally in the woods, but we can't be there right now. They never did show what was up with the random shack and how there was like, it seemed like
There was a person's like silhouette in the leaves.
my thing was that could have very well been some animal that could slip in and out of there doing the same thing. It didn't necessarily mean it was a person, but
Yeah.
it like they set it up like it was going to be a little bit more to it,
Yeah.
and then just nothing happened.
That's why I think it just might be red herrings a little bit.
Mhm.
But yeah. But back
Just
to the
little things
deer.
for you to be weirded out about because there's so much going on that it's
Mhm.
just strange anyway.
I've definitely like there's deer out here, and I've definitely caught them looking at my window before. So they do that.
They were like,
Especially
who
there
this?
was a point where I was like giving them apples every once in a not all the time, but just enough.
Did
So
you get
like
enough trust to hand feed or
no, I don't. I'm not. Nah, they got fucking ticks, Lyme disease, bro. What- Also, I'm not fucking with them like that. I'll leave an
I just
apple in the
imagine-
driveway.
to fry like Snow White. Little birds in the window when you washing dishes, you'd be like, get the hell out of here.
But yeah, like they'd come peek at me to see if I got any apples for them. Like, hey, you ain't leaving none out today.
What's going on, Apple Man?
like, hey, sleep?
Yeah. It's really scary because it was happening at like because I'd get home at midnight, so it's just
Oh.
I was like I think I hear something and I go like and peek through the blinds and it's a deer right there. Like, hey man. But at the same time, if I open the front door, they dip. So they're just yeah. But anyway, they do that. For me, I think I just liked how it was real conversations. Like it instead of like I would take this movie over the Driving Miss Daisy, Green Book, yada yada. Like, oh, the racism solved.
Mhm.
You know, they everyone gets along, they do a dance, like they sing and dance together or something, and then no more racism, everything's good, and white people feel good at the end of the movie.
The dinner party.
Like
Oof.
this is how it would go down, right? Like it would be awkward as shit. All these microaggressions will start to come out, and then it's just like, look, we just gonna have to be friends if we gonna get through this together because this is the best.
Absolutely.
You
But
know,
we gotta get along.
yeah, but like we saw the tension as opposed to, oh, I don't like them because they black and now we got to be on the same football team and oh look, we all play good football. Oh, they're people too, you know. I mean, not the Return to the Titans is great, but you know what I mean. Like, oh, sorry, Remember the Titans is great. I didn't remember the Titan. Oh god,
Attack on the Titans. Where we going next?
That Denzel movie with the football sure is great.
I like the baseball one myself.
But yeah, I like that it got real tense because that's how it would be. They just wouldn't magically become friends. And you saw them like almost about to fight, especially in the shack with the Julia Roberts and Ruth. Like
things were tight. Things were dicey.
Yeah, she started raising her voice and she was like, "Stop screaming at me." Look, I thought they were going to fight, and then Julia Roberts got real and was like, "Look, I know I say I don't like people, but I'm a piece of shit too, and I'm sorry." You know what that was? Is freaking that hug from Mahershala. All her racism left right there.
Like, oh, this is what it feels like.
What is boner?
Yes.
Anyway, favorite scene?
I'm torn because the scene. The record player scene was a little bit like what
the dancing was too hard of that. That was
she was dancing so bad I was questioning his dancing.
No, he pulled that Obama. You ever see Obama dance around white people? He just starts kind of mimicking them.
He was doing confused as what I'm seeing dancing, but I'm confused at what you're doing, but you vibing, so I'm gonna try to vibe with you.
Oh my god.
I don't know how to follow it, but I'm doing my best.
That's so funny. That's so
He said,
funny.
"I don't want to
Side
ruin your
note:
good time."
the Obamas executive produced this movie.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, they have a production company. That's what they did after the White House, and this movie was one of theirs.
oh my God! I'm gonna get Obama to produce my record. Obama,
Barry. Uh,
be money.
but yeah, what was yours, Kareem? Kareem?
say it again.
Oh, what was your favorite scene?
Oh, the tooth pulling scene.
Okay, yeah, that
Oh,
was.
it was so hard and cringy.
Ooh, so you picked two
Mm,
cringy scenes.
yes. That's honestly how you can get me in a movie. If the scene is cringy enough,
Ooh, like if it
I,
makes you, if it garners that reaction out of you, I got you.
if it's
I,
a little
Mm,
unsettling, this is. Ugh.
mm.
I think my favorite scene actually is the porch standoff because
Okay.
everybody had to like really come through on that one.
Oh
And
yeah.
homeboy was like, "I'm a nothing master, but I'm trying. No one should have to die here." And
Oh
dude
yeah.
was like,
He came through for his son.
"Yeah."
Yeah. His son in the car about to like, oh shit, what's going on? Yeah. Back to Mahershala code switching. This was when he code switched. Because when Danny was like, "Nah, I ain't gonna help you." No, when he told him to get off the porch, and he was like, "Excuse me, what?" The way he cocked his head and everything, the black came out of him right there. He's like, "What? I'm sorry."
Came
Like
out just a little bit, just a little bit.
he started getting bucked from that point, and that's why he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to pull it out. I'm gonna have to pull it out."
I'm you.
Got to
He
get
went
that
from
hammer.
Green Book to Trick Daddy.
All to save a kid, because Trick loved the kids. And
Lord Jesus.
okay,
Son.
not gonna do a quote because the quotes or whatever, but MVP character. It's gonna be one or two.
I don't know. I guess got to give it to the little gremlin kid. She
She was focused the whole movie.
no,
She
she was more
knew.
focused than anybody else the whole movie.
She knew.
Because she'd ask really important questions like, "Are things bad?"
It's
And
'cause
they'd
she
be like,
didn't blink.
And she's like, well, "Just tell us if things are bad." Like,
Oh man, yeah, that's my. I mean, Rose's MVP
I got
for me.
a great question for the director of this movie.
What's that?
All right, so supposedly he has like his own backstory of what he thinks happens after the end of the movie.
Okay.
I didn't read all of it because I was like, I don't really want to know what he thinks needs to happen. I want to know if Rose was disappointed with the last episode of Friends.
Because she did say she said she has anxiety about how they're going to wrap it up.
That's the big question.
Like, how
But
did she
was she
feel
fine?
about it?
And what her next show is.
Yeah, because there was plenty on the wall. I hope she started Raymond.
I was trying to pick different ones out, and I saw Eat, Pray, Love, which has Julie Roberts in it, which I thought was funny. Because
That's good. That's good.
I definitely saw Buffy. Maybe Buffy's her next show. But Kareem, what
Who's your MVP?
who's your MVP?
I don't know. I am going to say
I'm about to say the deer.
no. I'm going to say Mahershala because he kept it together.
Yeah, he was trying.
He kept it together.
He knew his daughter was a negative person, and he did not want to give her enough for her to think that the mother's dead,
Right.
even if she might be. He
Even
saw
though
a plane fall out the sky, and he was
Yeah.
still trying to protect her.
That's true.
Yeah, even though she
Yeah.
thought he wasn't doing enough.
And that's a great reason to pick him for that. But my real reasoning is he let them white folk back in his house.
Oh, because you wouldn't
Because
have.
I surely would not. And he let them stay upstairs. You let them, because you keep your racist microaggression wife out there. No, go visit the sister.
They would have
There's
came
another
back
road.
after the Tesla scene and would have saw Kareem picking through the windows. Nobody's home. We hear you.
Look, do that little peek where I put the blind down. Like, oop.
I see you.
And the little wave.
That's funny. Okay.
We doing something else. Not right now.
Okay, let's what's your favorite character and which character are you? Tim.
Shoot, I forgot the daughter's name.
Rose.
No. Other daughter.
Ruth.
Okay, I was about to say Raven. That would have been way off. I would like to be Ruth. I'm not. She
Okay.
was on point. She knows what she's talking about. She isn't willing to compromise. She's at age where I feel like this is a thought I had as she's at that young black age where you start to realize everybody knows you're black,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, you know what? I need to address myself as a black person. So I like her a lot, but there's a chance that I'm Clay
Okay.
with less panache.
Okay. All right. Kareem.
Favorite character? I don't know. Okay, Mahershala, he's still my favorite. He's my favorite because of
All
the
right.
way he held it down
Yeah.
and how nice, godly he was, letting him back in. Letting him back in. Who am I? I'm the little girl that wants what I want. I'm gonna get it. I can't lie, because I would have probably broken that house too. That's
She broke in, went straight to the snacks, then explored. She
yeah.
didn't explore first and then found something to eat.
Took
She
care
was
of it.
hungry.
That's funny. Oh
Yeah, because
man.
we really didn't see them eating in the movie.
They ate the first day, and then the
Yeah, there was
second day
yeah.
was
Because you gotta say, because they really only brought food enough for that little stay,
Mm-hmm.
and
yeah,
they
then
probably
they didn't
didn't bring
share.
like real food.
They
They-
really didn't step into how hungry everyone should be. That was
Well,
kind of interesting.
That second, well, they probably ate off screen now and think about it, because they second day, because they for end of the first day is when Mahershala and Mahala showed up. Second day, they left. They tried to leave, and the Teslas tried to kill them, and then came back. And then it cuts to nighttime, and they're just chilling
Yeah.
because not knowing what to do. So they probably ate on the in between. But still, she was like, "I'm going straight for the snacks." For me, favorite character is Rose, because that shit was funny. I enjoyed that payoff. I enjoyed that she kept the joke going through the whole movie. I enjoyed that she was like 20% magical. The animals like her, so I like her. Who am I? I'm 100% Ethan Hawke. Like I'm the dopey dad. Look,
You are.
Look, Mahershala make me that cocktail. Man, this is good. Oh, they can stay tonight. Make yourself a what are we doing? I don't know why we got
a
guns
good
out.
time.
Look, man, I'm just look. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but please save my son. Like that's me. But yeah, all right. Final thoughts, if you got any. Anything we didn't already say. Any conclusions?
No.
It's a solid movie.
Actually, no. I could be the old dude hunkered down in his house.
You a prepper?
I'm a big prepper. I would.
Okay.
half prepper, half. Wait, something's going on.
Right. Polar opposites. Are you a
Like,
Gemini?
Oops, let me go get my bucket of food.
Inside
Y'all
of you, there are
can't come
two
in here.
wolves.
No, it's called minding my own business until I
He-
see something happen, and
he
then I
makes a
get it.
point.
Then I get it.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, lockdown. It's
He makes a
lockdown.
good point.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's what it is. It's
We kind of talked about it in the beginning of the episode. I see why general audience didn't like it, because they probably thought it was a different movie. I see why critics, 3/4 of them liked it, because it explored humanity, human emotions. It just wasn't straight up a
Yeah.
disaster flick. Not that there's anything wrong with the disaster flick, because I like them too. But we got more than that, is what I felt, where we got to see these, relationships explored and tested. But yeah, I liked it. All right, ratings. Kareem, did you come up with the system yet?
yes. I think I'm gonna test this one out.
All right.
Mhm.
Okay, this system, all right, is gonna be 1 to 10 for how long am I spending on my phone during this movie?
Okay.
With 10 being a lot of time, or
10,
1 being a lot of
10
time.
of 1 being the most amount of time, meaning I'm on TikTok, Facebook, texting. 10 meaning I don't even know where my phone at.
Okay. All right. What you
And
got?
I will give this movie a 7.
Okay.
Check every now and then, maybe check the message. looked at one TikTok video maybe, but no, I'm still focused on the movie.
Okay, you didn't go down any TikTok or IG rabbit holes.
I didn't. I didn't. I
You
didn't.
didn't
I
really
Nice,
didn't.
miss
nice,
anything from the movie.
I did
Okay,
not. I did not.
I like your system. I like this.
nice, nice.
Okay, Tim.
Mine is still whether or not I would recommend the movie, and I absolutely would. I'd go out of my way to make sure people don't like think too much about it. I'm not going to tell them to go in completely blind, but I feel like if I know people who like movies that are about with a lot of character building in a
I
short
think that's
amount of time,
fair.
I would recommend this for sure.
I think that's fair because I think that's why it has such a low score is because folks went in expecting something different.
Yes.
For me, this is a solid 7. I'd even give it a 7.5. It's a good movie, really good movie. I mean, I watched it twice. I would recommend it. I want it in my collection.
Nice.
Maybe I don't care about getting it on Criterion. I'd wait till I can get it lower than retail, but I'd like it in my collection, even though it's a Netflix movie, so it probably will never be on DVD. But all right. Well, that's the episode, guys. This is the first time recording in the new year. It's going to be
On
the second
January
episode.
6th, no less.
Yeah. Happy Epiphany, Three Kings Day. Slash Reb. So who said it was Redneck Juneteenth?
What?
I know I just hit you with a
my
lot.
God.
What is that?
Redneck
Insurrection Day.
Oh.
Yeah. So a lot going on today. But yeah. So plugs.
More than usual. I completed my evolving album yesterday. This EP. It's called "Check on Your Friends." It's my sort of exploration into kind of the more dour emotions that some of us are probably going through. Seasonal asshole depression. I'm not sure what that one is. SAD. That's what people call it.
Dour emotions. That's the
Was
first
it-
time I've heard that.
Yeah,
Was it cathartic at all for you?
it was. I kind of didn't realize it was going to help with a lot of things as much as it did. So I'm really glad I gave these a shot. Some of them are older songs that I sincerely have not even like considered playing for people in years because they were kind of like a little bit too rooted in sort of the not great things. But they all worked out together. They sound cool. I finally sat down listening to them all in a row myself. I'm thinking about doing a listening party, but I'm not sure how to do that exactly. But it's at my band camp. It
You ran
may end up
Airbnb?
getting a physical. Like 2 people asked me if I was gonna make a physical version of it. I'll think about it. But over the D&D Sluggers Bandcamp, you can see that, and I've made a few different little videos about it on Instagram, TikTok. I like I screwed up. I said TikTok. I wanted to say vertical video. I made some vertical videos. So I don't know who I heard say vertical video, but if you say vertical video, you mean any site that has those. So I might transition into saying that to sound like an elitist asshole.
All right. Today I learned.
D&D Sluggers, not the baseball team.
All right. Kareem.
I have none still. I'm still in the darkness.
All right, that's fine. You can follow the podcast at SGBK Podcast on Threads, on Blue Sky. You can email us at sgbkpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow me personally on Letterboxd at Tifron, on Blue Sky at Tifron. And thanks for joining us. I haven't figured out what we're doing next week, and I apologize. But bye.
Take care.